our mission today is to sort of sift through all this, pull out the most interesting, maybe surprising bits about honeybees.
Exactly. Give you that shortcut to being, well, pretty well informed on bees. Okay, let's get into it. Maybe start with hive life, the basics.
Sounds good. So inside the hive, you've basically got three types of bees. The queen, the worker bees are all female, and the drones, who are the males.
And the workers are the ones you always see buzzing around, right?
The art sponsorship.
Activity.
That's them. Now, the queen, she's sort of the heart of it all. Her main job is laying eggs.
And it's a lot of eggs, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Potentially over 2,000 a day. But she's not just an egg layer. She also produces these chemicals, pheromones.
Ah, right. To control things.
Exactly. They guide the behavior of the other bees. It influences, brood recognition, stops workers developing ovaries, that kind of thing.
Huh. And what if the queen dies?
A good question. The workers have a plan B. They'll pick a young larva, feed it this special stuff called royal jelly,
Royal jelly, okay.
and that exclusive diet triggers its development into a brand new queen. Pretty clever system.
Very clever. Okay, so then the worker bees, they're the females doing all, well, work.
Yep. And pollination is a huge part of that, as Nat Geo Kids points out. They transfer pollen between flowers, which lets the plants make seeds and fruit.
So incredibly important for our food.
Absolutely critical. Fruits, vegetables, flowers, and of course they make honey.
The sweet stuff.
Right. Bukovina mentions this is their food store for the winter, but they're very productive. They usually make 2 or 3 times more than they actually need.
Which is where we come in.
Exactly. That's the surplus we get to enjoy. But think about this. The average worker bee only lives for about 5 or 6 weeks.
That's not long at all.
No. And in that short life, she makes maybe 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey.
Wow. Puts it in perspective. Okay, what about the drones, the males?
Right, the drones. Their life is pretty focused.
How so?
Their one job is to mate with a new queen. That's it.
Really?
Yeah. You'll find a few hundred in the hive during spring and summer. But come winter, when food gets scarce, well, they get kicked out.
Kicked out. Bit harsh.
It's all about survival for the colony. They're just, extra mouths to feed over winter.
Okay, and all this happens inside the honeycomb. That structure itself is amazing.
It really is. It's not just random. Perfectly formed hexagonal cells.
6 sides, yeah. Very efficient shape.
Exactly. And they use these cells for everything, storing honey, storing bee bread.
Bee bread, what's that?
Yeah. It's basically pollen that they've collected, mixed with some nectar and secretions, and packed into the cells. It's their protein source.
Gotcha. So honey, bee bread, and raising the young bees, too.
Yep, the nurseries are in there as well. And the wax for the comb, they make it themselves.
Oh.
They have glands on their abdomens that secrete little wax flakes. Then they chew it, soften it up, and shape it into those perfect hexagons.
That's incredible. It takes a lot of effort, I bet.
It does. To make just 1 kilogram of beeswax, they need to eat up to 4 kilograms of honey, plus some bee bread.
Wow. And I read somewhere the comb changes color.
That's right. New comb is white, but it gets darker, sort of yellow-brown, over time as it's used.
Fascinating. And how many bees are we talking about in a single hive? Like a healthy one?
Oh, it can be huge. Anywhere from 20,000 up to maybe 80,000 bees in a really thriving colony.
80,000. That really is like a small city. Okay, so they're busy making honey, building homes.
Yeah.
But they have some other pretty amazing abilities too, right?
Absolutely. Their flight, for starters, those little wings beat incredibly fast.
How fast?
Around 200 times per second. That's what makes the buzzing sound. They fly at about 25 kilometers an hour, roughly 15 miles per hour.
Okay. And there's something about static electricity.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is cool. As they fly, they build up a small positive static charge on their bodies.
And that helps them.
It does. Pollen grains tend to have a slight negative charge, so the bee's positive charge helps the pollen literally jump onto them, like tiny magnets.
Nature is so clever. Okay, what about smell? I hear they're good sniffers.
Unbelievably good. They have about 170 odorant receptors. For comparison, we have maybe 400, but theirs are incredibly sensitive. It's estimated their sense of smell is like 50 times stronger than a dog's.
50 times. Wow. What do they use it for?
All sorts of things. Communicating in the hive, recognizing their own colony's scent, and of course, finding flowers from far away.
Makes sense. And vision, is it like ours?
Not quite. They can't see red light very well.
Oh, interesting.
But they can see ultraviolet light, which means they see patterns on flowers that are totally invisible to us.
Like landing guides.
Exactly, pointing them right to the nectar. Get this, their compound eyes, they actually have that same hexagonal pattern as the honeycomb.
No way. That's cool. Okay, taste. Can they taste sweetness?
Oh, definitely. They have over 300 taste receptors, mainly on their antenna and mouth parts, but they can also taste with their feet.
Taste with their feet. Seriously.
Yep. Especially sensitive to salt, apparently.
Wild. Okay, now the big one, communication. The famous waggle dance.
Ah, yes, the waggle dance. It's just brilliant. When a worker finds a really good patch of flowers.
She comes back and tells the others.
Exactly. But not just, hey, good flowers over there. She performs this specific dance inside the dark hive.
And the dance itself contains the information.
Precisely. The direction she waggles tells the others the direction of the food relative to the sun.
How do they know the sun's position inside a dark hive?
They can sense the sun's polarization pattern in the sky, even on cloudy days, and they constantly track its movement. They transpose that angle to the vertical inside the hive, so straight up on the comb means fly towards the sun.
Okay, wow. And the distance?
The duration of the waggle part tells them how far to fly. Roughly 1 second of waggling equals about 1,000 meters or a kilometer.
That's incredibly specific.
It is. And the enthusiasm of the dance, how vigorously she waggles, indicates how good the food source is. More excited dance means better nectar or pollen.
So it's direction, distance, and quality review.
You got it. It's an amazing system. Carl von Frisch won a Nobel Prize for figuring it all out.
Deservedly so. Okay, let's talk about honey itself, the end product of all this incredible effort.
Right. And the effort is incredible. Nat Geo Kids says bees visit about 2 million flowers to make just 1 pound of honey.
2 million, that's a lot of flights.
It is. And they have 2 stomachs, remember, one for their own food.
And one for nectar.
Yeah, a honey stomach, where they store nectar and start processing it, adding enzymes. And get this, making honey isn't purely instinctual. Younger bees actually learn the process from the older ones.
Like a little bee apprenticeship.
Kind of, yeah. Passing down the technique.
And some honeys are sweeter than sugar.
Right. Yep, honey is about 25% sweeter than regular table sugar. And generally, the darker the honey, the more antioxidants it tends to have.
And it lasts forever. I heard about honey found in tombs.
That's true. It practically never spoils. It's got very low water content, and it's quite acidic, so bacteria just can't grow in it. Plus, bees add an enzyme, glucose oxidase, which produces small amounts of hydrogen peroxide.
Hydrogen peroxide, like the antiseptic.
Exactly. It's another reason it's so resistant to spoilage and why it has those antibacterial properties Bukovina mentioned. That's why 3,000-year-old honey found in Egyptian tombs was still edible.
Just amazing. And it's used medicinally, too.
Oh yeah, for centuries. For wound healing, thanks to its antibacterial, antimicrobial, and anti-inflammatory effects. Manuka honey from New Zealand is especially famous for this.
Why Manuka specifically?
It has unusually high levels of a compound called methylglyoxal, which gives it extra potent antiseptic power.
Interesting. And it can help us sleep.
Apparently so. Bukovina noted that a little honey before bed might help stimulate melatonin production, the sleep hormone.
A natural sleep aid. And the flavors vary so much.
Hugely. Depends entirely on what flowers the bees visited. Wildflower, acacia, linden, buckwheat. They all have unique colors, textures, and tastes.
Like terroir and wine.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
And globally, it's big business. Ukraine, as mentioned, is one of the top 5 producers. The whole market's expected to hit, what, $13.6 billion by 2030?
That's huge. Okay, and the container for the honeybees wax, it's not just wax, is it?
No, it's complex stuff. That Ukrainian site mentioned it has a neutral pH and contains over 300 different substances.
Wow. And the best wax is from the cappings. Zabruz.
Yeah, the wax they use to seal the honey cells, it's considered particularly high quality, with strong antiseptic and regenerative properties.
And burning beeswax candles purifies the air.
That's the idea. Apparently, burning high-quality beeswax releases antimicrobial enzymes, mimicking the clean environment inside the hive.
Like a natural air freshener.
Huh.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Humans and bees. We go way back, don't we?
Oh, incredibly far back. Bees themselves have been around for over 100 million years, according to the 155 fact source.
100 million. Dinosaurs were still around.
Right. And humans started harvesting honey about 8,000 years ago. The ancient Egyptians were really into bees.
They thought they were tears of the sun god.
Yeah, tears of Ra. And they were pioneers in beekeeping around 2500 BCE. That 3,000-year-old honey was found in King Tut's tomb.
Just mind-blowing.
Isn't it? The Greeks put bees on coins. The name Melissa means honeybee in Greek. Honey's mentioned in the Bible, ancient Sanskrit texts. It's deeply woven into our history.
And not just ancient history. There's that tradition in New England.
Ugh.
Telling the bees. Yeah, in the 19th century, people felt they had to inform the hive about major family events, like a death or the bees might leave or stop producing honey.
A sign of respect, almost. And St. Valentine is the patron saint of beekeepers. Didn't expect that.
Me neither, an interesting connection.
So, huge cultural history, but economically, today, they're massive, right? Pollination.
Absolutely massive.
Yeah.
In the U.S. alone, their pollination services are valued at nearly $20 billion a year. Globally, maybe up to $577 billion.
$577 billion. That's fundamental to agriculture.
Totally. Without them, our food system would look drastically different and much less productive.
Which makes the threats they're facing even more worrying.
Definitely. Losing over 40% of colonies annually in the U.S., as the sources say, that's alarming.
It's a mix of things causing it.
Yeah, a perfect storm, really. Pests like the varroa mite are devastating. Diseases like foul brood, then there's pesticide exposure and just less habitat, fewer flowers for them. It's a tough picture. But let's end on some more positive, maybe surprising aspects. Their role in culture and even science.
Yeah, like in Ukrainian embroidery. That connection is beautiful. Bees on the middle level of the tree of life.
Symbolizing things like wisdom, diligence.
Purity, creativity. It ties back to ancient beliefs about wild bees living in tree hollows, sort of linking the earthly and heavenly realms.
Lovely symbolism. And science is finding them useful in unexpected ways.
Really unexpected. They're studying bee brains for clues about dementia because parts of their brain seem to resist aging when they change jobs in the hive.
Wow. And detecting explosives.
With that amazing sense of smell, yes. They can be trained to detect specific scents, including explosives. Plus, scientists are looking at how bees recognize faces, well, patterns, to improve computer recognition systems.
Bees inspiring AI. What else?
Well, they've made honeycomb in zero gravity on space missions.
Seriously. Bees in space.
Yep, and apparently a swarm of bees can generate a static charge similar to a small thunderstorm.
That's kind of terrifying.
A little. And Z. Frank pointed out research suggesting they might understand basic math concepts like zero or simple addition and subtraction.
Bees doing math. Okay, now I've heard everything.
Almost. They also seem to like caffeine. Studies show it improves their memory and learning.
So they're like tiny, buzzing, caffeinated mathematicians who can smell bombs and build in space.
Pretty much sums it up. They are genuinely remarkable creatures.
It's just incredible. This whole deep dive, it really highlights the complexity, the capability packed into these tiny insects.
Absolutely. From their ancient history to the waggle dance, the honey, their role in, well, everything.
It makes you think, though, given how long we've lived alongside them and how much we depend on them.
Their current struggles.
Yeah.
It does raise questions. What does their situation say about our own relationship with the natural world?
It's a really important question to ponder. Maybe something for you listening to think about, too. What can we do?
Even small things help. Planting bee-friendly flowers, lavender, bluebells, things rich in nectar. Choosing local honey supports local beekeepers.
Simple actions, but they can make a difference. Well, thank you for joining us on this journey to the amazing world of honeybees. It's been truly enlightening.